Hello everyone, CRG is talking about NPC Crews a lot for the last 12 years. It seems like CRG wants to give us engineering in 4.5. I think engineering without armor, without Maelstrom and without NPC Crews is not a good idea. NPC Crews would be perfect for fighting fires, helping with engineering, manning turrets. 1 year ago, Richard Tyra said NPC Crews are not coming with 1.0. Also, as AI plates provide most of the functionality, NPC Crew will most likely be a post 1.0 plan. If you ask me, 1.0 is quite a while away, unless CRG goes for lowest possible effort 1.0. With missing basics, missing core mechanics, almost no physics, etc. If CRG does this and gives us a lowest possible 1.0, there will be hundreds of videos and articles about this, ridiculing CRG. Here's a very interesting Spectrum posting by Nightbird, November the 14th. Reminder that NPCs will repair your ship and more. Chris, capital ships such as the Javelin will require multiple players or NPCs to run all the various ship systems, man turrets and even perform tasks such as reloading turret bays or repairing power relays. Todd Peppy, yes, our intention is that NPC crew should be just as effective as a human crew, all things being equal. There will be challenges to repairing as well as humans, but CRG will try. Ship technical information, min-max crew. The minimum crew value is what we regard the minimum number of players or hired NPCs to be able to operate a ship in a basic manner. In other words, required crew count for ships is defined by CRG as human or NPCs. Perseus Q&A, the pilot will have access to the torpedoes and some of the other bridge stations will be able to control weapons. Like other ships with manned turrets, they are designed to be human operated. However, as a fallback, they will be able to be NPC crewed or equipped with a computer plate. Mining design notes, while most miners will seek to actively avoid armed conflict, the reality is that any ship carrying a cargo of valuable ore will present a tempting target to less scrupulous types, rewarding those players that formulate contingency plans in advance, whether that be hiring of an NPC crew member, extremely talented with a defense turret, or investing a portion of the expected profits into hiring an armed escort or two. Legionnaire Q&A, NPC co-pilots will be able to performing hacking if no human is present. Mole Q&A, any NPC could be assigned to the job, but some will be better skilled than others. If you assign a non-mining trained NPC to fracture a rock, they won't operate efficiently and may even occasionally blow the ship up. Yes, NPCs will mine with you. Hurricane Q&A, at this time we intend no additional penalty for hiring NPCs to man your turrets, just the USC cost of their friendship. There's a lot of pages about NPC gunning for you, I won't link anymore. Multiple game package clarification. Remember, it's not necessary to use a game character for your NPC crew. You will be able to hire normal NPC crew with credits you've earned in-game. The difference between a game character slot converted into an NPC crew member and a regular NPC crew member is that you can customize the game character NPC's look, name and backstory. Information about creating NPC crew members and game packages. The link to the Spectrum thread is in my first pinned comment below. I have looked for some videos where CRG is talking about NPC crews and I will show them to you in a moment. Some people will say this is old, things changed. Well, things did not change, CRG still says we will get NPC crews after 1.0. And I know quite a few people showing in the videos I will show you shortly are not with CRG anymore, but they talked for CRG. This was not their own personal opinion. And even if things did change, which they didn't in this case, does this mean CRG can say whatever they want and they are not responsible for anything? I will show you now a small selection of videos where CRG is talking about NPC crews over the years. I'm already saying my goodbye. Auf Wiedersehen!
It's about the constellation. Now, this is a good question. Will we be able to hire NPC as crew members, or will there be just onboard AI to fill the empty space?
Yes, NPC as crew members. It's an easy one. Yeah, you'll see a guy in the extra seat rather than just have a computer control it.
Yeah, so to further emphasize that, there are going to be NPCs that are a little smarter than others, just like people. So you'll be able to hire better pilots. There'll be ratings. I think we'll put a rating system in there for the NPCs, and
yeah, and it'll cost you more if you want to.
It'll cost you more if you want to have an ace, NPC character. Exactly.
It was mentioned that subsumption is going to allow for 24-hour scripting, right? This has been kind of a hot topic with crews and big ships. How does that apply to the AI crew? Tony?
Your crew, NPC crews will basically be, they will follow, normal 24-hour schedules and stuff. It almost becomes like the concept of food or fuel or anything else, which is allowing your crew, downtime is something that you're going to have to take into account. If you expect to, head on out into space and you've got a large NPC crew and you just want to sit out there, for hours and hours and hours, then you're not going to want to, leave yourself that entire time in a dangerous situation, or else you'll have to worry about crew shifts or whatever.
Could you deplete the energy of your crew, like accidentally?
Well, we'd wind up we'd wind up modeling things. I mean, there's a lot of different ways.
Well, it'll be like mini sims for the crew. They're gonna need to be paid. They're gonna need to be fed.
Exactly it. And so
they're gonna be needed to get pets.
I'm just every hour I'm gonna throw a grenade in a safe spot just to wake them up.
If you push them beyond their limits, they will basically take it, but they will start to become less happy. They will start to demand more money. Eventually, their effectiveness at their job will start to deteriorate, and so you can do this, but there will be effects to it all.
Flying a bigger ship, like a multi-crew ship, those are going to be tougher, probably more tougher than we even have right now.
They would, but your NPC crew on those larger ships, you're probably going to have a healthy contingent of other players helping you or other NPCs, and those people would continue to function.
Would still be active. Yes. So like, to be clear, if you disconnected and you had an NPC crew, that ship would still exist, the NPC crew doing stuff, and then if you reconnected, you were back in there on the ship, and we'll keep it in that state for a while to allow you to reconnect.
We're talking a ship NPU where you actually will hire a crew to man your station. Because let's say today your friends are not online and you just want to have some fun, you will have your NPC crew that you hire and raise and train and all of the lovely stuff, and they will have a schedule. What you can do as the owner of the ship and the captain, you can say, yeah, you're always on red alert. Then everyone will be at the stations. What that will do, it will cause their morale to drop. If you keep them always at the station, they'll go hungry, which again drops morale. They'll not be happy. Their performance will decrease. So it's up to you how you want to do it. If you want to always keep them on red alert because stuff is about to happen, fair enough. But at some point you have to let them do their stuff. And if they don't get enough sleep, they get cranky and all this lovely stuff.
All right. When's that happening?
Soon. Why'd you ask?
Yeah. I keep an eye on the public roadmap for when AI subsumption interactions like AI crew and stuff, are making their way towards Star Citizen. When's that happening?
Soon.
When's that happening?
Soon.
You're going to be able to hire NPC crew to run the shops, and it's kind of a public space, so you got to be careful with what you're stocking and selling there.
AI NPC crew. Now we've saved a lot of these for the end. They were clearly the topic that players were most interested in when they submitted their questions. We're going to talk a little bit about that now before we wrap up today. I do want to stress that when we talk about early work and stuff that is farther on the horizon, this is stuff that is farther on the horizon. So what we're going to talk about right now is a lot of our intentions, the things that we want to achieve with AI NPC crew and stuff like this. But as always happens with game development, as other systems come online and as new tech comes available, these things change and evolve over time. So we are going to talk about our current intentions with regards to AI NPC crew. So let's start off by first explaining the difference between AI NPC crew and AI server blades for spacecraft, because they are two very different things. And I think sometimes a lot of people use the term AI interchangeably to mean both. So let's start off with the differential there.
I'll take that one.
Okay.
No one else wants to jump on it.
It's all you, Dan.
No, they're both AI. They are definitely both AI, especially from our perspective. They are going to be running the same behavior. How an AI needs to aim a gun to shoot down a ship is exactly the same way a human is going to aim that same gun to shoot a ship. The same behavior is going to run through all of this. Now, gameplay-wise, there are differences. A blade is a subcomponent on a ship. You will plug it in and suddenly assign a turret to use that blade, and the turret knows how to do it. There are disadvantages here. First of all, the blades are going to be worse than NPCs. We have this grading of the player. If you take an average player, it's going to be better than an average NPC, and it's going to be better than an average blade. Yeah, so pretty much we automatically is not that good at the job. The turret blades are actually going to occupy a blade slot, which means you can't equip another blade for other functionality you might want on the ship. So that is a valuable slot that you're losing just to have one turret start shooting without an NPC there. Basically, you're a cheap bastard. You don't want to pay someone to take that slot, whether it's a player or an NPC. Just pay the money and hire someone and get them to shoot. You can pay for a blade that is the cheap alternative. Don't do that. I mean, do it if you can't afford anything else. And then the ship is going to have only enough blades to run a part of the turrets. So let's say you have a ship like, I don't know, the Hammerhead. You won't be able to have enough blade slots to make all the turrets functional. So there's that downside. So this is mainly where the difference runs. AI-wise, I guess if some of the programmers want to chip into this with how the behavior for this works, maybe they can clear some stuff up.
Yeah, behaviors are just the same behavior that an NPC will run, but maybe most importantly, the behavior will be the same, the activity will be the same, and maybe how you characterize the blade will go through traits, skills. Yeah. So sort of editing your the skills, the capacities of this gunner in this case.
I think, as Dan said, is like not all the seats can be replaced, right? So there would be part the crew members that they would be purely NPCs, and I think the critical part here, I guess, is to like basically the same way we let designer in specific environment to ask NPCs to do things, right? This is how. Under the hood is the same way as when the player will give them commands, right? If you ask an NPC, say, go and be the turret guy, right? What will happen is the same as when a designer set up like a mission and he has an NPC sitting on a turret, on a turret seat. If you ask a guy, you say like, you know what? I want you to fix that panel, right? You can do it. And it's the same way as when a designer asks, an NPC to go and repair exactly that panel. So the way we build the behaviors and, especially like all this crew management, the part of the crew, the guys in the crew, it's made in a way in which they can perform by themselves as best as they can their jobs based on the skill, based on the traits, right? So imagine like you have somebody who likes to, just procrastinate. You will have your engineer that goes around and just sometimes you find this smoking spot, or I don't know, like some resting areas, and he just hides there and not doing his job. But you might have his supervisor goes around and sends tasks to people, right? And then goes and tries to supervise them. We have the same on the bridge crew, right? The captain can go around and supervise the NPCs and see if they're doing a good job or not, and maybe just tell them something. And the same for the player will be basically, right? And then they can assign them. And also I think there's more gameplay. Say you can find who's best at doing specific job based on the one you hire, right? You might hire somebody really good on shield management, but he kind of sucks at shooting through a turret. And maybe you need both, but you don't have enough money. You are one guy, and then you live with whatever it's most of your needs. But the good thing is that these skills and levels, you just carry through the game. So it's kind of cool that you see the guy maybe getting better at some of those. Some of those will allow you to train. Some others will just be your character traits. Somebody's coward, and you just put him on, on try to defend you, is gonna just be a coward pilot, right? So it might just give up defending you if things are bad, and something like this. But maybe somebody super skilled, costs much more money. So it is gonna create this extra, layer of gameplay as well.
Yeah, oh, go ahead, Dan. Go ahead.
I would like to mention is that we're already building all of our behaviors to take skills and traits into consideration. So basically, even the guys you are fighting in Korea, they have skills and traits that are going to be driving some of the decisions. The behavior tree is exactly the same, but there are branches where it goes, well, do I have the skill to do this thing? Or how good am I at doing this specific thing? Exactly the same stuff we'll be using for NPC Crews, basically, because we build the system in such a way where we thought a bit ahead and we're like, well, we want crews, let's start building the skill and trait system that's going to dictate how the behavior runs or how efficient someone is at the job.
Server meshing has been working pretty much flawlessly at scale for the past 9 months. Server meshing has been working pretty much flawlessly at scale for the past 9 months.
Hey, you're still here. You might want to join me on Twitter or on Blue Sky.